Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Apoorv Malik, and I welcome you all here in this webinar on behalf of TNV Academy as the host of the day. First of all, let me introduce the speaker of the day for today's webinar. I'm glad to have Mr. Ajay Bajpai with us as the guest speaker. The topic with which he is here today with all of us is ISO 13485 Medical Devices Quality Management System Policy. Mr. Ajay Bajpai has audited several organizations for ISO 13485 standard and has assisted several others in the implementation of the same. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy stream. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301, and 50001 standards respectively. He has an industrial experience of around 38 plus years in field of manufacturing, design, quality control, and quality assurance. He has been imparting training to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs, and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminologies and how ISO standards are implemented. This was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you, Apoorv. I am glad that we are doing it for a subject which is very, very critical for our physical health, particularly those who have crossed the age of 50 or in some cases 60 years. Most of them need medical devices to support our physical strength and at times mental strength also. So this is a pure subject of medical devices, quality management system, and we are going to focus on policy. In this particular clause, everything has been said as quality policy only. So sometimes I feel to get into a situation where I try to flow purely towards a quality policy, but that is not the case. This standard is a sort of joint venture, I would say, of quality management system and medical devices. So the base is ISO 9001, and on top of that, the buildings are made of various categories of medical devices. Some are so simple, like uh, the examples like intravenous cannula, IV cannula, blood bags, maybe contraceptives, maybe the walls of the heart, maybe the knee implants, maybe the liver and other implants of the body, shoulders and all. So if we can understand it very clearly that we are talking of quality management based upon to implement the medical devices. So in as we have discussed in other policies also, the top management needs to ensure that yes, policy is available and it is applicable to the purpose of organization. In some organization we have seen they have set policy, but they have forgot to include the medical devices which they are manufacturing or trading or servicing, or the lab ingredient, the chemicals, the sanitizers and all, they all fall into the medical devices category. So they should talk of that into their policy. It should also include a commitment to comply with the requirements to maintain the effectiveness of quality management system that is required. So we need to focus the requirement of medical devices for the enhancement of the MDQMS system via a well documented, well displayed, well direction given by the top management for the policy to meet the requirement of QMS, which is MDQMS here today. Also, it is going to provide a framework for establishing and reviewing the quality objectives. Again, when we say quality objectives, we mean medical devices oriented quality objectives, MDQMS objectives. So once that happens, then we can ensure that yes, MDQMS policy will be achieved through smart MDQMS objectives. We may conduct a webinar on 10 days in the first week of April or so. But yes, we have to see that the words, the documented policy is going to further extended in communicated to whom? First, communicated within the top management, because if they cannot understand it, they have given a direction, but they themselves don't understand the writing of the policy, what they will guide further. And then understood. There are auditors in third party community who will just ask a client team to read the policy. That is a mistake. We need to understand it, not the reading. Reading can be done by any Tom, Dick, and Harry at times, provided it is, worded into his language. We have seen situations where the language is different. It is written in Arabic. I, as an auditor, do not understand Arabic, so client can say anything when I ask him to read. But our concepts are very, very clear. We understand the language of the lips. We are trained like that. We understand the body language. So if he has understood it, we can understand that yes, he has understood. So it is a question of understanding what has been understood by him and who has made him understand that, and whether that has been understood adequately or not within the organization. So one is the within the organization, and then we go further into communication. It is communicated to the statutory regulatory authorities, the boards, the customers, the suppliers, the subcontractors, the supply chain team. Then only it is understood. Okay. So writing down in a language of English or Arabic or Turkish or Malaysian or any other language, South African language, Tanzanian, Rangunian or whatever, but then understanding that points of lines and the meaning is very, very typical. Is reviewed for continuing suitability. We have seen organizations who after 3 years and even sometimes 6 years they say our policy remains the same. The technology have changed. The devices regulations are changing the fastest way globally. It is a lot of changes are coming every week, every month. We have got another group here in India where a lot of global members are also there for MDQMS group, we call it. There are more than 500 team members. Out of them, 400 are purely manufacturers and laboratories. So we are all discussing it on a continual basis. Diamond forever. Policy is not forever. Objectives are not forever. And they need to be reviewed for continuing suitability. What has been documented in Singapore unit 3 years back may not be suitable today because regulations have changed. In Malaysia, the design of IV cannula have been revised twice in last 3 years. So what I am doing today as a manufacturer, having the same policy displayed, documented, I am mistaken. So this needs to be reviewed. Then what? What are the desired results? First and foremost is organization team is trained onto the concept of MDQMS policy. If they are conceptually clear that while manufacturing this blood bag or this contraceptive or this vaccine, My team is trained onto the policy which I am going to utilize during the inspections or supplier handling or customer handling or regulatory board handling. Then I am good. I can move on. Otherwise, I am no good. I am very bad maybe for the system. Policy gives an assurance that yes, MDQMS management systems can achieve its intended results. Means as an organization, I am getting improvement via internal audits, via external audits, and global requirements are met. Today, what I am manufacturing here in my Ludhiana, Punjab unit is being serviced by a Hong Kong dealer. He is accepting it, he is supplying it to the customers as per their requirement. ABC category, the classifications are being met, and there his appointment as a external or internal customer or dealer distributor is appropriately approved, and it is following the regulations and the route of authorizations adequately. Policy should be auditable. Auditable means what? We can ask questions. If it is written into a language which is 10 lines are written haphazardly, 10th line should have been in fifth line should have been on second line should have been into fourth line. This is not a matter of joke, this is a fact. And then we tell the organization that are you cracking jokes here? We are not here to read your jokes, because those policies become joke for themselves and for auditors, where the sequence is not there, where the order is not there, where chronology is not adequate. They are talking of history at times where the history should have been into the first line, maybe, or last line. I do not know how they want to represent their organization globally, but answers are coming clearly if language is correct, if it is meaningful, if it is logical. Logical is something which is very difficult to be spelled out. When we are doing third party inspection for product certifications, we tell them logical and common sense are very logical and very commonly available as technical and engineers, but they are not so. Most of the persons are not used to use their common sense. Like yesterday, the result has come for our great Rahul Gandhi. An ordinance which, if he has accepted 10 years back logically and given due respect, not by saying nonsense to it, he should have done a sensible work and logical work, and he should not have been thrown out of the Sansad. He should have still been a member of parliament. But I do not know what kind of sense he has. He himself said, I have become a member of parliament by default. I am unfortunate to become a member. I do not know why he says and all. But I want to use logical language, senseful language while we are documenting and while we are having questionable and answerable MDQMS policy. So that is the intent. Example may be Rahul Gandhi or King George or Queen Victoria or anybody, to make our concept clear. Like the prince was supposed to visit France, he cannot visit because there is a movement of some policies going on in France. So this is an example. But what I mean to say, the visitor policy to that country does not remain same throughout the life. If there are protests, the policy needs to be modified and revised, and Prince Charles cannot visit France for next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I do not know. So all this is a live example of how things can be kept clear and how they can be made adequately for continuing suitability as on date, not based upon what is happening into the history 10 years or 20 years back. It also needs to meet the needs of the interested parties. Interested parties are there, so we are there. It is interested parties who are making our survival adequate enough to live a long life. Everybody wants to have a live long life when he is running an organization where he is manufacturing or marketing or providing services of MDQMS devices or supporting activities or chemicals or whatsoever. He is doing the instrumentation or calibration or servicing or whatever. So it should meet those requirements. meets the mission, vision, and direction of the top management. That is very important. If we are going little bit here and there from the direction of the top management, we will fail. We will not get supported by finances, we will not get the machines, equipment, we will not get the resources. So the mission vision of the policy should be in the same direction as of. I went to have a glass of water. I had water and now I am back. So the communication within the organization and all interested parties is equally important. This link I have taken from the last slide. But I again start from here the drafting. Drafting documentation and approval of MDQMS policy very critical and very important. Not just write some 10 lines and start implementing it without having the proper documentation and approval support. Approval is be required because those who are approving it, they will read it, they will understand it, they will ask for modification, and then only it will go for release for implementation. Provide training is very important. Displays are equally important. What is displayed remains in the mind, remains in the heart, remains onto the lips of the organizational teams. It can be done on website very well. We always appreciate so that all interested parties, regulatory board, customers can see it. If they see, then they view, then they review, and then they make suggestions and make it a live and adequate MDQS policy. There are various kind of softwares available, you know. So not just use softwares and employ MDQS policy, make it suitable to your organizational requirement. I started from here, taking a link from the last slide, but yes, communication is the key to success. All right, going to the action plan. These are very, very small things. It looks very simple to say, and many of the people attending to it sometimes say, "Sir, what is this? Planning has been done, this has been done," but these are all different entities, as we say, legal entities. So these are all requirements are all different entities in its own. You cannot stand alone, define something and get the results. We are here to discuss how to get the best results out of this implementation. So implement the actions as per the plan. So that means planning is a necessary part of this activity. Without a good planning, the results will not be achieved and desired results will not be there. So first of all, we have to create a desire for the results. We have certain desires. Those desires are converting into drafting of the policies by top management, direction and guideline. Then middle management and the coordinated teams will develop a policy plan. Then what will happen? This planning will be done into different processes. There are hundreds of processes in an organization. A small process like loading unloading a medical devices into QLab is a process. Lifting a medical instrument of 10 lakhs of values of 10,000 million amount of software and putting it back into the operation is a process. Writing down a work instruction is a process. So planning of MDQMS policy and monitoring into different processes is an art. It is an art to see that processes are amalgamated or gelled or getting fused with the effective policy plan. Then we do the analysis of the policy and implementation with respect to medical devices, manufacturing, servicing, processing, testing, and so on. And then we do what? We would appreciate organization to have this policy chart of implementation. If this chart is available, then individuals, interested parties, suppliers, supply chain management, they all can implement this policy into the organization throughout the process of raw material from customer order to the customer complaint and we are implementing what we have discussed in last 5 slides. We have discussed these 5 slides. These 5 slides have been a part of the planning activities, thinking activity, thought process has gone so far into 5 slides. So now the sixth slide is there for the implementation of what all we have thought so far. And then we are running the policy into various functions and always trying to enhance the effectiveness of MDQMS policy implementation. Then we are updating the policy and objective chart. Policy and objectives, planning chart go together hand to hand. They are brothers, they are sisters, they may be cousin sisters, they can be distant sisters sometimes. It is a question of supply to supply order chain. But yes, they are having relations. They may not have the same blood group, but yes, they supply the same kind of a fluid going into our veins of the organization. So then we need to have correct and accurate and precise calculations. This particular standard, as I said, this is a sort of product certification also, mixed with system certification, QMS. So accurate calculation, accurate readings, accurate QA/QC results are very much required. A lot of data needs to be submitted to statutory and regulatory boards depending upon what frequency they want, but not later than a year in most of the cases, So the board can ask for documents and data anytime. We should be ready with that. Not that many organization will go for conduct of reviews when the board is going to come. Here the boards are just sitting on their head all the time, every time, 100% on time, as I say. Then we review the facts and figures with the involvement of all. We would like to involve even the smallest creature in the organization into the interested parties. They can give us the best of the feedbacks. And then what do? We review the willingness of the team and the willingness of the entire study of the interested parties, regulatory boards, and so on, who are working on real-time basis with us, regular interval, real-time basis, so that they are not preventing our growth and success. If they do that, we modify them. We modify the individuals. Interested party, the stake of millions of rupees is involved, the stake of 10 countries is involved, thousands of employees and supporting these things are involved. We cannot make them kill by few who are going to prevent the growth and success. Better kill them out of the organization. Sometimes the hard decisions needs to be taken. There is a horse and carrot policy. Sometimes we have to use the thunder, the danda. Sometimes we have to show the carrot. So it needs to be a mix of the management systems while we want to arrive the result for quality policy implementation. So now implementation is also done. What happens now? Analysis and future action. I always believe in the study of policy chart in small groups, cross-functional team, small groups, the Japanese way of working, the Gamba, and so on are very, very useful. I myself have seen practically operators running down the business of the organization effectively to reduce the rejections and reverse. Why? Because they are made stronger. There is a red button. Operator is authorized to press it and stop the process if the documents and data is not matching, if results are not matching. How do we get it? We get it by way of getting the data, by collecting data by SPC, SQC and other techniques. And then we take it here. We take it here. We utilize the energy effectively. If we spend thousand, millions of energy units in producing 100 parts, is that a good way of working? We are paying bill of 10 million rupees and we are having a production of 90 million rupees at the end of the year. So what do? We use independent, trained and deemed competent internal auditors and second party auditors to see that these things are under our control and our requirements of ISO management systems are being moving positively to get the desired results. Desired results is key to the entire process. Sometimes we see the customer satisfaction percentage. Some company we go in the month of February 2023, their customer satisfaction index is 91%. Similar kind of product being manufactured in similar district, adjacent unit has got 91%. Same kind of units in another district of same country is having 95%. So these are all relative terms. These are all depending upon the capability, capacity, their honesty and their honest plans for the implementation of ISO management system in the standards MDQMS. Sometimes organization try to fool themselves. Sometimes the top management is fooling the entire organization and screwing the entire share markets and making the entire country and the world economy get into swings, which is being done today by maybe by Russia and the Ukraine or China or US or Iran or Israel. I do not know. They are all entities who are responsible for functioning of ISO management systems in their own countries by using extremists, by using bombardment or whatever they are doing to spoil their own country and their own organization. If you are making an attempt to kill ISO management system standard, do you think you can survive? You think you will not be caught in management review meetings? So after conducting all this, you are going to conduct a management review meeting, not with the aim to catch all this. Yes, catching is also not bad. You take a catch in cricket, so you can successfully win the match. So you catch the actions of the entire management team into management review meeting with an aim to find out what weakness, how weakness, and how they can be improved upon further. Improve upon further is by way of implementing and monitoring of further actions and future plans. We see very stupid, very silly, very funny management review meeting records into organization which are far, far away from realities. The moment we open the first and second page of the management review meeting, we can see it very clearly that it is all a curtain which can be blown with just one like this. The whole curtain is broken into pieces. The whole net is broken into pieces of networks. And we understand that this management review meeting is not no good for the organization. They are just fooling themselves. They cannot fool us because we have adequate experience of not being fooled. We might have been fooled as a junior auditor maybe 30 years back, but now we have enough experience in our team of the auditors, which are made of two auditors and one expert. You cannot fool us. We catch you and we try to do what? We try to show directions to the organization by way of raising non-conformities and observations, which are only meant to show the direction for improvement. Those who get it, those who catch it, those who are moving around us, वो मधुमक्खी के छत्तों की तरह हमारे इर्द गिर्द मंडराते रहते हैं जब तक ऑडिट चलता है. उनका मंडराना, उनका हमारे आगे पीछे घूमना is for their improvements and they improve upon. And those who try to run away from auditors, they cannot improve anything. So we conduct a lot of trainings in TNV Certification Private Limited, which are approved by Action Well Global. We conduct almost 80 courses, including 13485 lead auditor course. Every month we qualify 15 to 20 candidates in every state of India. So this is very much going on well. Also, we are approved for 1705, which is the accredited auditor course. We do that also. Also, we do certifications of MDQMS by TNV Certification Private Limited under UF accreditation along with IAF. So we do all this. And the seminar I am conducting on behalf of TNV Academy is a theme, learning without limits. So this is all I thought I had to discuss today with respect to MDQMS. So if you have any questions, you are most welcome. Thank you.
If the team have any questions, they can please ask on the topic which has been discussed today. Or if in case you do not have any questions as of now, so as all our webinars go on to our YouTube channel, our live YouTube channel, this particular webinar will also be uploaded soon on the channel. And in case you have any questions after going through the webinar once again, you can please put your questions in the comment section of the video, and we will be forwarding those questions to Mr. Ajay Bajpai for their respective answers. We can now come to the conclusion of this particular session. I would say that we have been blessed by the knowledge which has been shared by Mr. Ajay Bajpai on 13485 policy, which is medical devices quality management system, and which is a standard in which many of the organizations are not aware about the complications involved in this particular standard. So the knowledge which was shared by Mr. Ajay Bajpai was absolutely vast and fruitful for all of us. I thank him for sharing his knowledge on this particular topic and taking out time from his busy schedule to conduct for the smooth conduct of this webinar. I thank all the participants as well for their beautiful time which they have shared on being joining in this particular webinar. Thank you for your support. See you soon with an exciting new topic. Till then, it's best wishes from TNV Academy.